So here we are with part 4 of my Chameleon Cook series on the onion family, and I'm going to be talking about garlic today, specifically garlic soup. I haven't actually had a whole lot of experience with garlic soup, largely because when you make garlic for a whole group of people, it tends to put them off. Garlic soup, I've read in various cookbooks, begins with a head of garlic. Now here I'm showing you a head of garlic. A clove of garlic is just one piece from this head. When a recipe starts off with take 1 head of garlic, or sometimes take 2 heads of garlic, then you're going to think, well, these people aren't going to be kissing one another, or maybe not even talking to one another very often if they take my soup. So I haven't actually done a lot with garlic soup, but I bit the bullet, and now I'm going to give you 3 recipes for garlic soup, and they are all perfectly delicious. So let's get cooking. I'm going to introduce you to 3 different methods of making garlic soup. It's not just that they are 3 different tastes, if you like. They are also 3 different methods. 2 of them involve sautéing, and 1 of them involves roasting the garlic. And in all 3 cases, there are very different methods involved. So I'm going to start off with the simplest here, which is sautéing the garlic, and I'm going to add some onions so that the soup is actually garlic plus onions. And the first thing we need to do is just think about how to prepare the garlic, which is going to be the same pretty much for every recipe. That is, you start by peeling the garlic, and there are some pretty ingenious ways of peeling it, but I usually just use my knife top and tail and take the peel off and then slice. From here, the recipe is absolute simplicity itself. You put a little olive oil in a pot. In this case, I'm using my stock pot, and you add a sliced onion and some chopped up garlic. Depending on your tastes, you can add, let's say, 7 or 8 cloves, whole head if you want to. In this case, I just added about 8 cloves chopped up, and gently sauté. Now, your plan here is to sauté until the onions are soft. You do not want to have them take on any color, and you do not want to have the garlic take on any color. In my last recipe, I will bend that rule a little bit, but generally speaking, if garlic takes on color, it becomes bitter. So what you want to do is just sauté gently until the onions are soft, and once they're soft, then you can add stock, and you can bring the stock to a simmer and let that cook. You can let it cook for maybe 25-30 minutes, something like that, just so that everything is married together. And what I also do at this point sometimes, not always, but sometimes, is take it off the stove, let it cool, stick it in the refrigerator, come back the next day, reheat, and continue. The continuation is to add French bread. And you see here I've chopped up some day-old French bread, as it happens. Simmer it, let it get really, really soft, and then you can just poke it with a fork just to make sure that it is really, really soft. And then blend. Now here's my immersion blender. This was a Christmas present to myself in Italy about 4 years ago, because I can't carry around a blender with me. But it just turns out that having an immersion blender is really a great benefit, because I use my blender mostly for soups. And it's just a lot easier than dumping the soup in a blender. So here we have my blender. I take the garlic, onions, broth, and bread, and blend. Then here we have the finished product. Reheat and serve. And I'm serving here with just a few chopped chives and a little bit of Spanish ham. Absolutely delicious soup. Absolutely wonderful. That's soup number 1. This second soup is even simpler than the first one, because you don't have to do all that much to prep the garlic. You start with a whole head of garlic. Shear off just the top. So you can see here, so you've exposed a little bit of the garlic in each of the cloves. You pop it in an oven at about 220 degrees centigrade, 450 Fahrenheit, for anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes. Again, you don't want it to brown, but you do want it to cook through. And when it's cooked through, it looks a little bit like this. And the next step is also easy peasy, because once the garlic has been baked like this, it will just pop straight out. You don't need to chop or peel in any way. Just take the cloves off, pop out the individual cloves inside. Then from there, you put them in a pot with some broth, and just once again simmer until the broth and the garlic has all married nicely. Once again, if you want to, you can refrigerate it overnight. That's what I usually do. And then next day, out with the blender. No bread this time, just garlic and broth. Blend. Last step, add cream. Or in this case, I added yogurt because I'm not a real big fan of cream. But mix together, heat up, and serve. Could not be simpler and no more delicious. My cold open teaser said that I was going to show you 3 garlic soups, and I am going to show you 3. Here's the third one, sopa de ajo from Valencia in Spain. And I'm not going to give you the recipe this week. I'm going to wait until next week. You can see it's a delicious soup with a lot of different ingredients, including paprika, hot pepper, a poached egg, bread, croutons, all kinds of things. But it's a very long and complicated recipe in comparison with the first 2. It's not terribly difficult, but it's going to take some time. And I'm running out of time, so I will ask you to like and subscribe, and I will see you next week.